Okay, so I tried to do a video earlier, and I gotta say this real quick, man, because this is what the video was about. I was watching a video on the struggles of the Patriots last season or this season, and they started talking about N'Keal Harry and how he didn't turn out the way that people expected him to turn out. I guess with being a first round pick. So completely ignoring the fact that the kid was injured for probably the first 6 weeks of the season. It took him some time to get acclimated to being out there on the field. I'm pretty sure he had to fucking cram the fucking playbook. Like he had to learn as much as he could in a little bit of time that he had to learn what he had to do. And he was just thrown into the fire immediately. And even still made some pretty great plays with not having the experience, not having knowledge of the playbook yet, and just coming off of a fucking injury. He made some great plays. But yeah, he's a bust. Okay? He's a bust. Alright, so I watched most of this video. I just had to do a video. I had to do a video on it. Nick Wright, and when it comes to Nick Wright and Tom Brady, man, he loves the guy. He did love the guy. I mean, he was in support of the Patriots and the things they do. He was as objective as you possibly could be. I mean, it's not like his whole thing with LeBron James where he's completely delusional about 99.999% of the shit that he says. But, he was more objective with the Patriots, and that's what made it easier to watch him run his mouth, right? So, now that the Patriots had a down year, especially offensively, now Tom Brady is an average quarterback. Now Tom Brady should retire. Now Tom Brady cannot win probably ever again, if you listen to what people are saying. And I just want to, I really want to get to this because, I love this video. I just don't know why. I just like watching it.
New England?
Well, will we give him a bit of a break on it because it looks like they let him use Gillette Stadium? So he filmed this Hulu ad, and I'm sure Hulu cut him a 7-figure check.
A little something on the side?
Hijacking a little bit of the Super Bowl. Listen, far be it for Tom Brady's former understudy, Jimmy Garoppolo, and for the next greatest quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes, to have the spotlight purely on them on the Friday before the Super Bowl. Tom Brady made sure that wasn't going to happen. Would $30 million a year be a mistake? Obviously. We watched the games last year. We did. We saw him. We saw Tom Brady look like an average-ish quarterback. We saw Tom Brady, against every good defense he faced, struggle enormously.
And I'm going to say this. If I'm New England, do I feel an obligation to pay Tom Brady $30 million? No. It was Tom Brady's decision to take the pay cuts. He wanted more help. He wanted to give the team more money to work with to bring him more help. It was Tom Brady's decision to take that pay cut. He cannot expect the Patriots he cannot expect them to be willing. Like he can't, it's almost like he's forcing them to pay him more. Now, if they do, it should be their decision to do it. If they don't want to do it, whatever their reasons are, is their choice. I don't think he deserves it. We already look at him as the greatest quarterback ever. We already look at him as one of the greatest clutch quarterbacks of all time. We already look at him as one of the greatest one of the greatest late round draft picks to ever play the game. We already look at this guy as great. Like we already look at him as that. And when Tom Brady came into the NFL, that was his thing. He wanted to prove how good he was, and he did. He proved how good he was. So when we start getting to the money, I don't even know where it's coming from with Tom Brady now. I don't know. Maybe it's like he took the pay cuts so they could put a team around him. But they struggled with putting a team around him this year that could compete. And maybe it's kind of like him throwing a temper tantrum like, look, I took the pay cut so y'all could put pieces around me. Y'all didn't do it. What the hell was I taking a pay cut for? It's kind of childish, but maybe that's where it's coming from. Because I don't understand the ferocity of getting paid more now. When he could have got paid more probably years ago. if he would have asked for it. But I don't. If I'm the New England Patriots, I don't feel an obligation to pay this guy more. But you know Robert Kraft is going to try to pay him more because he loves the kid. He loves him. He's going to do what he can because he loves him. All right? So, I don't know. That's how I feel on that.
We saw the New England Patriots unable to win a home playoff game in a game.
I'm sorry, not how I feel, what I think. I'm sorry. That's what I think about that because the same issue came up with Le'Veon Bell where Le'Veon kept signing the franchise tags. Kept signing them. Just kept giving Pittsburgh the what do you call it? He kept signing it for them. And they give him 1 year. It's a lot of money for 1 year. I mean, that's his fault. If they don't want to invest in you longer, it's your fault. You should have stopped signing those franchise tags. But Le'Veon's issue is that, man, like, bro, you're not the greatest running back. You're not even the greatest running back now. Like, you suffer from a lot of injuries. I mean, there was a portion of Le'Veon's career where I forgot he was even in the NFL because he was hurt so much. Like, why would somebody want to invest in you? But, you know, whatever.
That ended on a pick six, right? We saw that happen. And we saw that Bill Belichick, when he was asked 9 months prior, do you want to extend Tom Brady when he was coming off a championship and 1 year removed from a league MVP? Then he said, nah, I'm good. I'll give you a bit of a raise and I'll remove the ability for us to franchise tag you, but I'm not signing up for age 43 plus of Tom Brady, sight unseen. But now it's sight seen, and the sight wasn't that pretty. So unless it is purely about what he has earned through his career, which by the way, one could argue, and he should get that. Okay,
I think he deserves that.
Okay,
I think he deserves the $30 million for 1 year. And again, there's not a whole lot of tread on the tire. We're seeing the end come close. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to Tom. But I think it's more about what do you want to get around him. They've got to get more weapons around him, especially on the outside. And
harder to do if you give the quarterback 30, right?
Yeah. But you know what? But I think in terms of what Tom has done, brought them 6 rings. 6 rings against, a perennial playoff team. He spent.
When Tom Brady is healthy and he plays at least 12 games, at least 12. When he plays at least 12 games in a season, out of the 21 years that he's been in the league, they've made the playoffs 18 or 19 times. Besides his second season starting, where they went 7-9, and besides the year that he got injured and he was out the entire year, they've made the playoffs. They've made the playoffs. The entire time Bill Belichick has been a head coach in the NFL before he got Tom Brady, I believe they only, I think he's coached maybe, 6 or 7 years, somewhere around there. He hasn't even come close to half those years making the playoffs. I think he made the playoffs once, and that was in Cleveland. Bill Belichick has struggled as a head coach. Since getting Tom Brady, and I'm not saying this is all Tom, I'm just saying Tom and Bill Belichick have formed one of the most unstoppable partnerships you will ever see again in professional sports. This is not baseball, man, where you have no salary cap. You can pretty much go out there and get whoever you want if you have the money to get them, like the Yankees do, and just build your team full of, pretty much turn your team into an all-star team every fucking year. They don't have those luxuries. They don't have the luxury of the NBA where one player could pretty much dominate the rest of the league. They don't have those luxuries. There's a lot that goes into the game of football, which makes it extremely complicated. And they have the least amount of games, so they don't really have much to, you losing one game could potentially throw off your entire season. That's how crazy the NFL is. And Tom Brady has dominated since he's been in the league at such an unbelievable level that we'll probably never see this again. We'll we'll probably never see this level of dominance again. But does he deserve this money? No. If the Patriots give it to him, he deserves it. Your worth is only what a team is willing to give you. That's it. Like, you're not worth more just because you believe you are.
The majority of his career contending for a Super Bowl, whether it's in the playoffs. Missed 1 year, I believe, out of his what?
His second year in the league was the only year they missed the playoffs when he was healthy.
Does that earn him, though, the right to stay as long as he wants?
I think so. Yeah, he has more value as a Patriot than going anyplace else. So I think they need to figure it out. I think, you know what, Tom, we're going to throw you a bone. Listen, you've been taking a pay cut for the last, 20-some-odd years. You've delivered us. You made us a marketable brand. Our valuation is now well over $3 billion because of you. Why not throw him 30? You know, why not? I mean, hell, Tom.
If this is a valid argument, you know what? All those college teams, all those college players, they would have came to some agreement a long time ago. If it was about the money and the wealth that you're able to generate for a program, a franchise, whatever, these college players would have got cut a check. Like, if that's the case, because those players in college are bringing an incredible amount of money to the programs, but that's not the case. It's not the case because your worth is only tied in what somebody is willing to invest in you. That's it. And obviously they think a player's wealth is the scholarships they give them. That's about it. That's about it. They're not willing to shell out more money. So I don't really believe the argument, you've brought me wealth, so you deserve this, you deserve that. I mean, if Brady felt like this team at some point wouldn't appreciate him to the level that I guess he wants to be appreciated, why did he stay so long? Why didn't he try to become a free agent at one point? Because for Tom Brady, his entire career, winning has been the most important thing to him. I mean, sure, every player wants to get paid. Every player wants to get paid. You want to get paid for what you do. But he never really dilly-dallied over the amount of money he made about his wealth. He never really made a big argument about it. So, why is he doing it now? That's a good question of what's happening here. Why is he doing it now? What's the play? What is the end game he hopes to achieve? Because, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is going on right now with this. Because we've never heard this guy talk about money before. Whenever Tom Brady even come close to talking about salary cap and all this other shit, it's always about making the team better. So, I don't think he deserves anything. I want to know why. Like, why is this a thing now?
Brady. So that's kind of what I think about it. I mean, you know, we know it's going to be a 1-year deal wherever he goes. Why not end it as a Patriot?
Yeah, when you look at the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes is going to get paid, what, $200 million or whatever the projections are, and pretty average-ish performance through 3.5 quarters of that game with Tyreek. What's
Tyreek Hill.
Oh, is he pretty good?
Kelsey.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty good. So you have two of the elite offensive weapons. You have a very average or pedestrian game in the Super Bowl for the majority of it. But as we look at Tom Brady and he wins the division for I don't even know what
every year since he blew his
wins the division and they lose the home playoff game. But now we're saying that he's done, right? And I understand this narrative that you have, and that one of these years you're probably going to be right.
The year. We just saw it.
Okay, well, in your mind, this was the year, and he can't come back. But the one thing that we've seen about Tom and we've seen about the Patriots is they have the ability to adjust. They have the ability to adapt. And if you pay him $30 million, it's still a smaller percentage of the cap because the cap continues to grow. And the idea that they aren't going to be able to fix the problems that they have, to me, is what's that based off of? If anything, based off history, they find a way to consistently fix the problems they have.
But can I?
Yeah, and I don't think him getting $30 million is going to break the team. I mean, when Carson Wentz is getting more than he is right now, Carson Wentz he was getting paid more than $10 million. He was getting paid more than $10 million than what Tom Brady is getting paid. Okay, and even with the 30, he's still getting paid more. Russell Wilson is getting paid more. Aaron Rodgers is getting paid more. Jimmy Garoppolo, I believe, is making more than he is. Who else? Dak Prescott, when he signs his contract with whoever he signs it with, he's going to get paid more. I mean, it's not like him getting $30 million is going to break the team. I just think that I'm starting to believe that his wife might have something to do with this, because we've never heard Tom Brady talk about money before. But seeing as how his career is coming to a close, and now he wants to get paid like more than anything he's ever gotten paid in his career, I'm starting to think that this has something to do with his wife.
Say, what's the only thing we've ever heard Tom Brady say he wants? We've never heard him say, I want more money, whether he does or not. We've always heard him for years say, I want to play till I'm 45. So what's more important to him to get from the Patriots if he is going to return? Money or years, at least allowing him to play till when he wants to play, which is 45?
I think whether he will admit it or not, I think given how this year went, how he played this season, I think he's starting to have doubts whether or not he's got 3 years left in him. I think he truly...
Wow. Again, it had nothing to do with the offensive line. It had nothing to do with the receivers. It had nothing to do with the fact that they have no tight ends. And when I say no tight ends, I mean like no serious talent at the tight end position. The injuries that this offense has suffered, you know, it has nothing to do with that. It's all because Tom Brady is average. When I watch teams rush 3 people against a 5-man offensive line and literally get to him before he's able to finish his 5-step drop. Yeah, it's not the offensive line, it's Tom Brady. For some reason, Tom Brady is just average. Okay, that makes sense.
Believes in his heart of hearts, I have at the very least 1 year left in me. And I think he probably understandably is a little irritated when he sees the other quarterback salaries continuing to jump. Yep. And I don't think when Brady asked him for the extension this past offseason, he was asking for $30 million a year. I think then he was asking for the years, and the Pats wouldn't give it to him. And now he's saying, okay, you won't give me the years, then I'm going to squeeze you on the money. You mentioned, Coach, why would they not be able to fix their problems? Well, let's go over what the issues are, because I know that in certain quarters, the issue can't be that from week 9 on, Tom Brady had a 78 passer rating. Yeah. That it can't be that over the course of the season, he had the worst statistical year in the last 15 years of his career.
Okay, so when a quarterback plays, all of his numbers, every statistical category that the quarterback has to worry about, be concerned with, is all predicated on him. It has nothing to do with the receivers. It has nothing to do with the running backs. It has nothing to do with the offensive line. It has nothing to do with the play calling. It has nothing to do with the level of talent you're playing against week by week. It has nothing to do with that. It's all because you're bad. That's it. A quarterback has a down year, you're bad. Okay? That's all it is. That's based on Nick Wright's understanding. If you have poor numbers, it's because you're bad. It has nothing to do with any contributing factors. It's just because you are average. It is on you. Okay.
Got to be the pieces around him. Offensive line wasn't good enough. Well, Dante Scarnecchia, last I checked, just retired. That ain't great. Well, the weapons weren't good enough. Well,
Look, I got to say this. Look, I don't know much about Dante Scarnecchia because I never really looked much into him. I knew he was the offensive line coach. But I never really gave it much thought about how he does his job. But I got to tell you this, man. New England has had some of the most questionable offensive line play over the past damn near going on 10 years. Because every single season, at some point during the season, I'm looking at the offensive line like, wow, these guys are not good. I don't know what's going on with them, but then they always tend to turn it around during the playoffs and play better. But during the season, most of the time, they are really bad. I'm not going to say really bad. They are between questionable and really bad. And this year, with the injuries to pretty much damn near half the starting offensive line and all the pieces that they had to bring in to kind of just like, I guess, substitute for the talent that they were missing. I mean, and Dave Andrews, who is, in my opinion, one of the top centers in the NFL, was hurt all season. Who was pretty much the anchor of that offensive line, was hurt all season. So, yeah, man, I mean, it's Tom. It's totally Tom. It has nothing to do with anybody else.
Been a first-round pick on a wide receiver, traded the second-round pick for a wide receiver, and used a first-round pick on a running back. I would not anticipate. It would be very un-Belichickian to now triple down on skill position guys in the draft. It's also un-Belichickian to go spend a ton of money in free agency. We talk about this all the time. They are never top-of-the-market free agent spenders. So where is the cavalry coming? From where is the cavalry coming?
So just because they don't pay top price for guys, that means they're not getting good players. And as much as they have spent the draft picks that we talked about, let's see where these guys are a year removed. Okay, let's see whether N'Keal Harry takes a jump.
And don't forget, N'Keal Harry spent a good portion of the season injured, so yes. He wasn't.
Thank you. I believe her name is Jenny. She has been so far the only person that I've heard say that. So far, every other person is N'Keal Harry is a bust. N'Keal Harry had a bad year. N'Keal Harry this. N'Keal Harry that. She is probably the only person. I probably heard maybe one other person, but so far as I can remember, she's the only person I've heard say, let's not forget N'Keal Harry was injured. Like, he was injured, and he was gone for like 6 weeks, which is what, damn near half the season. Maybe around 35-40% of the season he was hurt, which is a big number. It's not like the NBA where if you miss about 25 to 30% of a season, you still have fucking, 5 months worth of basketball left, which is still maybe like 60 games, somewhere around there. Like the NFL is so short, man. 4 games a month for 4 months out of the year. And then you have 1 month of playoff time. The NFL is a very short, it's game-wise, it's very short. You don't have many opportunities to make an impression. You don't have that many opportunities to do the job. Okay? And he missed a huge portion of the beginning of the season. So, I'm sorry. And then when he came back, he still looked good. He wasn't great. Sure, he's a rookie. He probably still has to adjust. Going from college to the NFL is an adjustment. Not everybody can just jump into the fucking league and fucking lead the league in receiving like fucking Odell Beckham Jr. or something like that. Like, he's not that player. But I'm telling you, the more he matures, the more he learns, the more he works on his body, works on his conditioning, works on the routes. I believe that N'Keal Harry could be a threat. He was already a threat this year. I mean, did we see some of the catches this guy was making, especially in the red zone? He would have been the solution to the Gronk problem if he was able to play from week 1 on. But, so it is what it is. That doesn't make the kid a bust.
Able to play.
Isaiah Wynn the same way.
Also injured.
Isaiah Wynn is a bust at this point, man, because this kid has been in the league for 2 years. He has not been able to stay on the field. He was a first-round pick last year. Actually, he was their first pick last year. And then they picked Sony Michel up. And did we forget that Sony Michel had a down year this year after tearing it up in the playoffs last year? He had a down year this year. I'd be surprised if I look at the numbers that this kid had a 100-yard rushing game. Like, I don't think that he's rushed for 100 yards. He may have, and if he did, it probably was only once. So, yeah, let's show some love.
And so with some time in the system where they can continue to develop, because what we're saying is this team is frozen exactly where they finished. And that those players aren't going to get better. And that's not what happens in New England. Typically, the players, because they're smart and they have good character, they get better as time goes on. And
Don't tell him. Don't tell him, Eric Mangini. Don't tell him. Don't tell them because according to a lot of people that even discuss the Patriots, which they're mostly wrong, the Patriots are depth of talent. They tend to win luckily, and and he cheated a lot. That's why they are 6-time Super Bowl champions, and they've made the playoffs like 18 or 19 times out of the 20 years that they've been doing this. It has nothing to do with the preparation. It has nothing to do with the fact that they tend to put together pretty good teams. It has nothing to do with that. All right.
And in the draft, it doesn't have to all be first-round draft picks. We see it year in and year out where guys contribute from all different levels of the draft. So they have the draft, they have free agency. Let's see what they do to fix some of the issues they have.
What is New England's contingency plan if they don't bring Tom back?
Stidham, I guess.
Jarrett Stidham. Jarrett Stidham, who completely killed. In my opinion, he killed in the preseason. Yeah, let's get rid of Tom, put Jarrett Stidham in there, man, and we'll be right back off to the way that we finished the season previous year. This year, like we'll be a playoff threat. We'll be a championship contender with Jarrett Stidham.
Stidham or
Marcus Mariota.
Oh, okay.
No, they'll have
Marcus Mariota. Look, I'm gonna say this now, man. When Brady leaves, I don't know if it looks good for the Patriots. I don't know, and I'm saying it from the standpoint that they have been dominant for damn near 20 years. I don't know if they're gonna be even close to being that way once Brady leaves, because Brady was such a special case. Brady's personality, Brady's temperament, Brady's willingness and thirst and hunger to be the greatest, and his thirst for knowledge when it comes to studying tape, studying that game film, learning as much as he can about the opponent, and his incredible knack for not freezing under pressure. You can't find that I don't know if you'll be able to find somebody else like that. Brady was such a fucking unicorn. Like, when we use the term unicorn, like, I don't think that applies to fucking Porzingis, man, because we've seen this already with him. Like we've seen players of his archetype be that way. Like, right now, there's a Kevin Durant who is a Porzingis times 3. Brady is a true fucking unicorn because this kid was a 6th round pick. He got little to no respect from his team in college when he kept constantly pulling their ass out the fire. Comes to the league. It was just happenstance that he was able to make a roster spot. It just happened. It wasn't something that was planned like, yeah, we're going to keep Brady on. We're going to possibly groom him to take over. It was just, look, we had the extra roster spot. I usually keep it available so I could bring in somebody later in the season, but we was like, you know what? Let's just hold on to Tom. Let's just give it to him. And the rest is that. Like, you're not gonna find a kid like that again. I don't believe you're gonna find another Tom Brady. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Especially, and this is not the first year that Tom has played with really, really questionable talent. Now, I can say this and say this with confidence, and then I'm done. I think this is the first year that his talent wasn't as great as other teams in the league, but they could not gain separation whatsoever. It's like their route running was not even a factor. And this is the first time, because when you look back during the first 3 out of 4 years winning championships, I mean, you have David Patton, David Givens, fucking Troy Brown, who aren't well-known receivers, but they had the ability to find openings in the field, on the field. The defenses are faster now. Defensive players are faster now. I don't know, man. I think they do need to bring in some other people. I think that hopefully Julian Edelman can recover from whatever. I think he should have sat for the rest of the season this year, Because if he wasn't healthy, and I don't know if he was or not, but if he wasn't healthy, he should have stayed on the sideline. He shouldn't have been in the game. Because anything that's wrong with him could possibly be, the problem could be exacerbated. And you don't want that, especially if he's going to be the number one receiver going into next season. So I think that the Patriots do have some work to do. I think that they really need to focus on this offensive line. They need to make sure that they got the right pieces in there. And I don't know, depth is important. Depth is so important. Being able to lose a guy and then go to somebody and not even miss a fucking beat is so hard to do. They have to find a way to minimize the damage losing a player does to this team. But, it's whatever, man. At this point, I'm not surprised by anything. If Tom stays, if Tom goes, I just, I hope he does what's best for him and his family. And that's about it, man. I'm done.